Welcome to the wild world of the diagnostic laboratory industry, where we focus on science, compliance, sales, marketing, and self-mastery. Welcome to Lab Results with Blake. I'm your host, Blake Bork. How many times a week do you feel like you're really prepared for the day? How many times do you wake up and you immediately jump into your text messages, you jump into your emails, you jump directly into Facebook, the news, and you feel like you have anxiety, and all of a sudden you're put on roller skates. You're reacting to the day. Start responding immediately to work emails that happened at 9, 10, 11 o'clock the night before, depending on time zones. You are in a situation where the world has penetrated you. The world has come in and taken over you, and now you're reacting to the world as opposed to you protecting yourself from the world, so that way you can go out and actually penetrate the world, right? In warrior terms, it's very important that we put on armor. And so today, this podcast is about how you are preparing yourself in the morning. I've touched this here and there in some of my messages. I've talked about the importance of working out and meditating in this warrior's way that I practice. I want to do an entire 10 to 12 minutes on specifically just that. So buckle up, your chin strap. We're going to collide with your ego. All right. So the first thing is, my life has completely changed for the better, and I will be a witness to my own testimony. My life has completely changed for the better when I wake up in the morning and I read the gospel. Full stop. If that's all I do to get prepared for the day, it's a win. And so what that looks like for me in my life, I typically put it on Amazon first. I listen to one of the books of the Bible, Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John. I haven't gotten to Acts or any of the other things, but they're reading scripture. It's the New International Version translation. They're reading scripture word for word. And I'm watching the dramatic scenes actually play out. And so I'm listening to it and I'm watching it, and it actually helps my memory. It makes me feel it. But then I go over to my MacArthur Study Bible, and I actually go chapter by chapter, and I read the verses, and then I go underneath it and I read the study Bible notes. This is precious time for me. It takes me about 30 minutes for me to do this. I then roll over to my phone. Not roll over, but I go over to my phone and I do a 2-minute drop in my accountability group, because I have 8 men, 4 coaches that are in this accountability group, and we're all doing the same thing. We're reading a book, and we're compressing the knowledge from that book into a 2-minute or less drop. It's called Discover and Declare. And so I'm listening to 8 other men, at least, who are either reading the Bible or Strong Fathers, Strong Daughters, or the Culture Code, or some type of a book that's improving their sales, their marketing, their business, their systems, or their spirituality. Now, most of us right now are reading the Bible because that's just the energy in it. But some of the other guys are reading like real good books, right? The Strong Father, Strong Daughter book. It's amazing. And I get to hear Alex's drops. So from there, I normally turn around and I go do my yoga routine. And I like to get my prayer in and my worship in before yoga. Now, I work out in more vigorous martial arts and, with dumbbells and kind of like HIIT training about 4 times a week. And then I do a really extensive yoga rollout every single day. And then I do a long cardio like 2 days. So 6 days a week, I am working out twice a day. But they're not really workouts per se. They're sessions. The yoga and the stretch routine in the morning, that's because I'm 43 years old, man, and I got to stay limber. That's so I can be flexible, and the yoga allows me to be able to get my breathing, and I just feel balanced when I do it. I don't do these things because it's hard for me. I do these things because if I don't do them, life is hard for me. Like this is like the medicine. This is the cure. The way that I prepare for the day keeps me balanced, and I find that I scream less. I get angry less. I have a better opportunity to keep my mouth shut more. I have less indulgences, the want to sin and to be of the flesh and be of the world. Those things minimize. It's super important when you're a diagnostic laboratory sales rep because you have so many opportunities to lie. You have so many opportunities to embellish. There's so many opportunities when you're on the road to drink to excess and make bad decisions. And so just keeping it real here, I'm preparing myself so that way I am walking a high integrity line in an industry that is full of pigs and mud. I want you to hear me again. I have to prepare myself because I am a man of influence who's easily influenced. You're a salesperson. You know this. The easiest people in the world to close are salespeople. Easiest people in the world to close are salespeople. So I have to make sure that I'm preparing myself in the morning. So the yoga routine, the breathing exercises, the prayer, that all goes into that. Then now I get my daughter up. It's about 6:30 in the morning. I get up at 5:05, 6:30. I'm waking my daughter up. My wife's making breakfast in the kitchen. My wife and I then talk about the Bible reading. I'm telling her about what I read and the story, and then we have conversations around that. We get on the same page with what we have to do today. We go over to the calendar and we're looking at, after school activities, what's going on. Is it chapel? Jenny makes her lunch, gets her dressed. I take my daughter to school. That's precious time for me. I enjoy taking my daughter to school. We listen to music, we talk, we connect, we talk about God, we talk about her challenges. We make sure that she's got her spelling words and we connect. That's our time together every single morning. Sometimes Bruce is up and he wants to come with us, but ultimately that's me and my daughter's time. When I come back, all those men in my warrior group that prepared those drops, right? Those 2-minute drops. Well, there's 8 of us. So that's 16 minutes a day. Some of us go longer. I'm one of them. 2.5, 3 minutes sometimes. But I can't just let that accumulate. So on the drive back home, it's about a 15-minute drive. It's a perfect time for me to go ahead and listen to my download from my team and get a good check-in from them, see where their head's at, what they're learning. And it's a lot of times it's more scripture, it's more perspective, it's more knowledge, it's condensed, and it's fruit. It's spiritual fruit. It's amazing. It's a harvest every morning for me. And it keeps me on this disciplined path. So I get home. Sometimes my longer workout occurs. Oftentimes this podcast. I'm creating content. I'm in ChatGPT and I'm researching ideas. I'm on Google. I'm writing. I'm studying. I'm putting things together. I'm looking at taglines. I am right now whitewashing my message. I'm preparing right now because I do feel like there's a big problem in this industry that comes with trust. And laboratory executives and CEOs have mistreated sales reps, and sales reps have lied to lab executives, and it's this big mess. And I really am searching for labs that are different, that actually do treat their employees the right way, and they do want to develop leaders, and they want free thinkers, and they're committed to quality, and they're committed to patient care, and they care what doctors say. But my problem is that they're just right now, they're few and far between, So, I mean, if you happen to be a laboratory, or if you're a vendor, if you're a billing company or a lab salesperson and you hear this podcast, I am asking you, if you work for a good lab, let me know, because we would love to get more lab sales reps to you. I believe there are more qualified diagnostic laboratory sales reps that want to be treated fairly than there are easily found labs. One of the problems with labs not marketing is we can't find them online. One of the problems with them not sending out their messages, sales reps can't find them either. So it's not even like a needle in a needle stack. It's like I don't even have a stack. You can't find the laboratories to be able to place good sales reps there. I know there's good labs in Washington State. I know there's good labs in Oregon. I just don't know who the hell they are. So anyway, spread that message. If you know one, let me know. So that morning routine, what I'm doing is I'm taking about 90 minutes and I'm preparing myself before I even get into a conversation with a business partner. This is the mistake that I would make before. I would start texting back before I got my scripture in. I would start returning emails before I had that conversation with my daughter. I'd start texting back before I connected with my wife, before I got my yoga in. I became somebody who was very easily, very, very easily compromised. I would overcommit to the end of the day, not even thinking about my family priorities. I would start giving answers from a place of, I just woke up. I don't even know what's going on. I'm still scared. I'm still tired. I would start giving direction because I felt like if they don't know that I'm working early, they'll take off too. So it becomes this pretending and projecting thing in the morning when you don't have that routine. Taking 90 minutes to make sure the next 10 hours go the way that you plan is the wisest decision you can make all day long. If anybody says that they don't have time for that, I promise you they're wasting more time. They're wasting so much time. And then they have to live through the bad decisions that they make. How much time does that cost you? They have to actually live through those consequences. How much money does that cost you? You give somebody the wrong direction because you're coming from the dark place instead of the light place. You send somebody a text and the tone's taken out of context, and now you have to apologize. And now because you're apologizing, you're offering them gifts. And I've got people who got pay raises because I woke up on the wrong side of the bed, y'all. Because I felt guilty because I told them something that I shouldn't have told them because I was literally pitching from the wrong deck. And so when you think about that morning routine and you think about that, we call it the bubble. I want you to think about it's a bubble. You're inside of this bubble, and everything that happens inside of that bubble, the world can't get to you yet. It's this protective bubble that you have around you. And your job is for you to go ahead and then walk out of that bubble and go into the world on your time, on your conditions. Don't let that text message or that Facebook post, that comment spin you out. Don't let it own real estate inside of your mind. You're not ready for that yet. Get inside of the gospel, and literally that's going to stay with you all day long. What's happening with me is instead of now, whenever I'm talking to people that I coach or salespeople that I know, instead of me actually giving them advice from my own life and talking to them about where I failed, talking to them about how I succeeded, and making the conversation about me and my experiences. I'm doing things like, remember when Jesus walked on water? The disciples had fear and doubt. He went off for solitude. That's the morning. He was going off to think, plan, and organize. The disciples saw him, and then they were scared. Like our employees have fear and doubt. They're afraid they're going to lose their job or get in trouble, and they doubt the laboratory being able to do the things they say they're going to do. It's different than me basically giving my example. When you can bring out timeless, perennial parables that cover all aspects of how we sin and how we trespass on others and that morality. It's just a wonderful way to be able to set your moral compass every morning. And it's something that I never want to stop doing. And it's different than saying, hey, go out and save the world. It's like if there's not a place for you to be spiritual inside of your business, that's okay. There's always a place for you to be spiritual inside of your house. There's always a place for you to be spiritual inside of your own mind and your own heart. If you work in a situation where your Christian faith is going to trigger people because there are people of other faith, and you want to be respectful of everybody who's there, and you're like, there's no real place for me to talk about this in my current work life. There's always a place for you to do it inside of your real life. And that's the bubble. Because those people that work, they're not there in the morning when you're getting prepared for the day. They're not there when you're putting on the armor of God. They're not there whenever you're weaponizing your body. They're not there when you're reading for your own benefit. They're not controlling you. Just like they don't brush your teeth for you, man. So they can't stop you from doing that. You control that time. You're the boss of that time. You take control over that time. Prepare yourself for the day the best way you possibly can, and you will take control over your entire life. Your life will literally change in a matter of weeks. You will look for love. You will look for joy. You will look for purpose. You'll start purging bad activities. You'll start cleaning spaces in your life. You'll start repairing relationships, and your sales are going to go through the roof. And the way you treat your employees are going to be better because your heart is clean, man. You're not going to have to drink as much at night because you know you're waking up early in the morning. Set your alarm clock for 5:05. Give yourself 50-50 between the 5 o'clock alarm and the 5:10 snooze. Don't ever hit the snooze button another day in your life. You hit a snooze button, it's the first commitment that you're breaking to yourself. Wake up at 5:05. I guarantee you, getting up early in the morning is going to make you go to bed early at night. And so now you're not going to be doing the things that people do at night whenever they lose control and they have evil thoughts and they drink and they party. This is just some self-control. Taking some wisdom from the 40-year-old man now who has made a bunch of mistakes. This is the best way for you to reclaim your life. This is greatness, and this is contagious. You've been listening to Lab Results with Blake, with your host, Blake Bork. Please like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. Remember, greatness is contagious.